So hi everyone, here's another video for you guys. This bed right here is actually part of the yard that's used as a drainage bed. You guys probably saw it a couple of months ago when I planted hydration over here. We'd be seeing that guy in a little bit. It actually made it and it's doing great. Um, I don't like the design. So this is probably going to be a multi-series video that it's going to span several months, and I'm going to be moving things around. So today we're actually going to be, you guys are going to be seeing me prune this rose. This is called Mr. Lincoln. It's a super popular rose. I think it deserves its popularity. It's a nice red flower, deep red, and it has a faint fragrance to it. We're going to be moving a grass, Hucculacloa Sunflare, and a salvia daryci. So the first thing we're going to do is actually prune this rose, and what I'm going to do is what they call lifting the skirt. So lifting the skirt is pretty much whenever you remove the lower branches of a bush. The reasons that you do that is, first off, it lets in more air to the bush so you avoid fungal problems, and it also gives you more room for planting underneath, and it allows sunlight to enter better. So I'm going to start working on that. So let's remove some branches. Okay. So small branches down here we don't want. Okay. Could remove some dead stuff. Alright, you guys see a lot of just like random leaves. So whenever you're pruning a rose, you want to prune it at an angle and not too flush to the main trunk, because if there's any dieback, the hope is that it won't die back to the trunk and allow disease to enter. So we're removing these smaller branches because, first off, we don't want them. It's going to make it crowded. And we're trying to shape this plant so it's something actually pretty. So here we have it's a weak branch, and it barely has any life in it. Let's get rid of it. I think we're going to remove this branch. Ouch. Careful for falling roses. Now, this big plant right here, I don't know if I discussed it. I bought seed from Plant World Seeds in the UK. It's a great nursery. I think it's also a botanical garden. Cheap seeds, great quality plants, stuff that you won't find here in the US. When you're ordering from overseas, always make sure that what you're ordering is not classified as invasive in the US. You don't want to cause problems. But back to this plant. This plant is called Bohormii cybordii, I think. Again, my Latin is really bad. It's a great plant, as you can see. Later on in the season, it flowers these tiny... Oh, no, there's actually flower buds for me. So, see if my camera can focus. Okay. So, these right here are the flowers. They're not showing... They're pretty much tannish white, but they're supposedly really, really great for attracting butterflies, which is why I planted it here. But this plant, I planted it in the mid-ground of this bed, and it's a little bit too big and lush for my liking. So what I'm hoping to do is, I would love to move it now, but I'm afraid of losing it, and I grew it from seed, so I'm very attached to it. I could prune it back, but it's about to flower, so I'm just going to wait until August, October. That gives me around 2 months for it to reroot, and I'm going to move it more back in the bed. It's not that big a bed, so I'm probably going to be planting it right around here, so it's at the base. It's next to the rose, and it could fill up all this area. And then next year I might give it what they call the Chelsea chop, and that's when you cut the plant by half around Chelsea time, Chelsea being a flower show, and that makes the plant a little bit more bushy. But I wait and see. So let's start working on taking up those two trouble plants. So I need to find my shovel. Okay, give me 1 second to get that shovel. Okay, got my shovel. There's some weeds back here. Let's get rid of them. So we're going to be moving this guy. It's getting buried underneath a hosta. It's not covering up like it should, and it's not as vigorous as I would like it to be. In better light, this plant, which is the Halcular solar flare, it gains red to its leaves. And looks really, really impressive. So we're going to be moving it right here in front of the rose, where we still get some protective light, because if it gets too much, it will bleach out. And it could hopefully cover it up a little bit better. Okay. Dig that hole. Right where I'm planting it, I used to have another plant, which was a chorus orgon. It looks like a grass, but it's actually not a grass. It's what they call an aroid. So aroids include gala lilies, elephant ears, that type of stuff. There's a lot of worms in here. That's great. And if you look at the soil, it's really dark with a lot of organic material. Look, I think that's a worm. Let's see. Nice. Okay. Let's see if this plant fits. It does. Okay, we can start backfilling. This plant will make a nice, grassy, airy feature right at the base of the rose. Around it and underneath it, if you look closely at the video, I barely even noticed it, were some iris bulbs. That soil we could put back. Now our second trouble plant is a salvia. Salvia daryci. I grew this one from cutting. If you look at it, it's going super, super leggy. It needs a little bit more sun, so I think I'm going to plant it probably right here. Right now it looks pretty shady, but midday for about 4 or 5 hours, this gets a lot of sun on this side of the bed. So I'm gonna dig it up, and then afterwards we water it. So the plan is I'm removing this salvia, so later I could add another salvia, as weird as that sounds. The salvia I'm thinking of adding is either Salvia fortisii or Salvia madarensis. They're both yellow blooming salvias. Both of them are from Asia, and they prefer a little bit more shade, and they're a lot more bigger than this one. This one's more like Salvia gregii type, but a little bit more on the small side. And it tends to stay a little bit more fleshy than woody. And I really want something muscular and big here, because I have my bench, the one that you guys always see me doing my videos on here, so it needs to push its way up to be seen. And this guy, it just won't do that, so time to move it. Let's see if I could do this one hand. Hope you guys were able to see that. It's hard to do this stuff one-handed. So, okay. We go right here. Find this big. And, oh, don't want to hurt the plant. Plant it. And I think I'm going to bury it just a little bit deeper than I did before. Because salvias, if you bury the stem, are able to actually root along the stem. Not all plants could do that. Tomatoes are one of the more famous examples. And I'm going to do that so it roots along the stem and hopefully it gets bushier and stronger. And then I'm going to give it a strong cut back. Okay. There we go. There's a lot of earthworms. Like this guy. That's pretty cool. We probably have a video about earthworms and some of the science behind the controversy. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut some of this back. So let's get some pruners. And you may ask, why are you going to cut it back? Well, first off, it's because the plant's leggy. then it's not really appealing. And if I don't cut it back, it's going to continue to grow in that manner. Secondly, it's to avoid the plant going to more shock. Just like a cutting, you damaged it and you moved it, and it's not going to be happy about that. So you remove as much as you can while leaving enough so the plant could establish better and not be so stressed. I mean, we probably left some roots behind too. So that means this plant has less roots to keep all this growth on top alive. So we give it a nice little prune. And it should reestablish and hopefully be bushier and nicer. Alright, so before we end this video, we'll do 2 more things. Well, 3. One thing, and you guys won't see it because I don't want to bore you, is whenever you move plants, always water them in. The soil here is pretty moist still, but you still need to water in your plants. Secondly, we're going to do a quick update video on the acrolicias I planted, which was in the previous video, and the hydrangea. So right there, we have some acrolicia seedlings. All of them have made it. And if you look underneath this jungle, there's the hydrangea Majja red. It's doing great. It's leaning a little bit more towards the sun, but once this guy gets moved, it will make a really nice bush. It's a dwarf hydrangea, red underneath red. That's going to look nice. And there's also some palm tree seedlings coming up. A constant weed in my yard. Okay, so that's going to be the end of this video. I guess this will be part 1 of this border transformation. Yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Any future videos from this point on will not be filmed using my phone. I'm going to try to be a lot more professional about things, so stay tuned.